So in my last video, I gave everyone suggestions on what to look for if you're shopping for a, I guess, bait finesse rod to throw the 1 gram trout magnet or lures as light as the trout magnet. And in that video, I mentioned that I had already purchased 3 rods for the past few months that I was hoping would replace my aging Kuying Teton TTC to hopefully address its shortcomings. And in this video, hopefully before it starts to rain really bad, I'm gonna show you the first one. Introducing the MAVLLOS Plume. Now, as you can see, this rod is absolutely stunning. It's got a very cutting edge design that is really a breath of fresh air over the design of rods we have here in America or even from Japan. Now, of course, this rod, I got it from AliExpress and it only cost about $75. So much cheaper than the Teton TTC I bought even close to 5 years ago. Now, some things about this rod: this is supposed to be an aging or horse mackerel rod. MAVLLOS is claiming it's using 40-ton Japanese Toray graphite, and you can see it's got a multi-weave graphite pattern that is exactly like the ones you'll find on really expensive Japanese rods for MEGABASS, EVERGREEN, or even some higher end rods here in America from Phoenix. Now, since I bought this rod to fish the trout magnet, let's go over its specs to see if it meets those requirements that I had listed off in the previous video. Now, the rod is 6 foot long. It's a 2-piece, so it meets the requirement there. It's got a lure rating of 0.6 grams to 8 grams. So the low end lure rating of under 1 gram requirement is met. As you can see, it's got a nice short handle for easy one-handed casting. So that requirement is checked off. So that only leaves the tip diameter and the action. Now, if you take a look at this rod once again, you'll notice that at the lock nut, the blank is extremely thick. I'm talking probably over ½ an inch thick. It's thicker than my 7'2" heavy powered Poison ADRENA. But then it just radically tapers off super quick as you get down to the first guide. And I've never seen a rod taper down like that ever. But according to MAVLLOS, when you get down to the tip is only 0.75 millimeters. So it's under 1 millimeter. So it meets that requirement. Now, what about the action? Now, since this rod, starts off super thick, you would think it would be really, really stiff, but hopefully you guys can check it out. It's actually kind of whippy. And I was really surprised when I put the rod together and shook it. I thought this thing would be super stiff and maybe only the tip would bend, but no. You can see that the rod bends all the way down, even through this thick section. So that's really promising. So yeah, all the requirements seem to be met for the MAVLLOS Plume to be a great trout magnet rod. But of course, there's really only one way to find out, and that's to put a reel on it and try to cast a trout magnet. So let us begin. So the reel I'm going to pair up with the Plume is going to be my custom 22 ALDEBARAN BFS with the Avail spool. So we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and we're going to test the rod as well as this spool. And you can see it is a beautiful pairing. Since the Plume is pretty much just black and silver, it will pretty much work with any reel color wise. And if you follow me on Instagram, you're probably not surprised by this because I posted a couple of pictures on Instagram already. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spool the reel up with about 20 yards, I guess, of 2-pound mono, and we're going to see what's what. All right, so as you can see, they're really blowing water out from the dam, and it's starting to rain. And I'm gonna quickly set the reel up. It's gonna have just a slight bit of side-to-side play. Now, FYI, I have 4 of the 8 recommended extra magnets installed. And I'm gonna start out at full brake setting. This combo feels as amazing as it looks. The handle's got a nice gloss coating just like the rest of the blank. And let's start casting. Hopefully you guys will be able to see where this is landing. Okay, wow. So just a easy sidearm cast is getting this lure out there. Let me cast out this way. It's starting to rain, but if I can see where it lands in the process of editing, I'll put an arrow there. But we're getting probably almost 30 feet already. Now, I ended up putting 75 feet of line on here using my line counter, but wow, this is already so much better than the Kunying Teton. Let's cast out this way. See, with the Kunying Teton, it took a lot of shoulder because the rod was so stiff. It took a lot of shoulder effort in casting a trout magnet for any type of distance, but with this rod, it's a lot more relaxed. And that's exactly what I was going for. Let's go out this way. Hopefully you guys can see that, but wow, this rod is incredible so far. I doubt I'm gonna catch any fish. I didn't even think the water would be up this high, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to dial the brakes down as slow as they'll go off camera, and then show you guys what this combo can do. Okay guys, so the lowest I could go on the brakes without having constant overruns was number 5 on the external dial. Let me show you what this combo can do. Let's cast out this way into this dark area. Boom. We probably gained close to another 10 foot on the casts, and these are just, you know, easy sidearm casts. And the great thing about this rod is that I can wrist flick without any kind of shoulder motion. I can just wrist flick with elbow and wrist the 1 gram trout magnet, and it is supremely accurate. Very, very accurate. Let's go out this way. Ooh, had to overrun there. Now I can actually see the rod tip bending a little bit with the weight of the trout magnet. Boom, right there, just a simple sidearm, elbow and wrist flick cast, and we're shooting this trout magnet out probably at least 40 feet. I surely hope you guys can see where this lure is landing. And here's another benefit of having a rod that's not as stiff as the Teton. I can actually do overhead casting. Boom. With the Teton, that was extremely difficult. to do overhead casts. You have to really concentrate. So I guess very high effort. But with this Plume, boom, look at that. Look at that. That is crazy. Boom, look at that. And I'm sure I could probably get maybe another 5 foot if I really lean back and used a lot of shoulder. But that's not the point. The point of finding a replacement rod for the Teton was easier casting. And this MAVLLOS Plume definitely delivers. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna do a few more, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the GoPro on my hat mount and give y'all an alternate view. Boom. Of course, the spool is pretty impressive, but of course there are a lot of BFS reels that can cast a trout magnet these days. Let's go out this way. Oop. Now, just in case you're wondering, this rod has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guides, including the tip. And if you're wanting this rod, if you're searching on AliExpress, if it's sold out, it's probably because I bought them all. But all jokes aside, I'm probably going to pick up at least 1 or 2 more. Boom, look at that. I'll probably pick up 1 or 2 more because I like it so much that I suggest you do the same if you were on the fence about it. Because as some of you may know, if I do a review on a budget AliExpress gem, those items tend to sell out quick, and then when they do come back in stock, prices generally will go up. That's just business. Golly, I'm definitely bringing this rod with me, probably as my dedicated trout magnet rod when I go to Colorado. Boom, look at that. It's just so much easier casting the trout magnet pretty much in all ways over that much stiffer Teton. And it's kind of crazy because the Teton blank is like a toothpick, especially compared to this blank. Boom, look at that. But yeah, if you're gonna go on AliExpress and look for this rod, you have to look for the one with the same specs as mine. So it's a 6 foot 2-piece, lure rating 0.6 grams to 8 grams, tip diameter I think like 0.75 millimeters or something like that, because I think there are other models of it. Pow, look at that. All right, let's mount you guys up on my hat cam and see if you guys can get a better view. So the overhead hat cam footage turned out like crap. So we're just gonna finish up, I guess, this preliminary review video of the MAVLLOS Plume here at home. And what can I say about this rod other than wow, wow, and wow? This rod met my expectations of what I was looking for and more. And can you believe a rod with a blank that starts out this thick can cast a lure this small just as good and in a lot of areas better than a rod with a blank that is this thin. And yes, this is the infamous Kuying Teton TTC, the rod that I used to start the entire 1 gram trout magnet bait finesse trend. And just look at the size difference in blanks. That's insane. Now, I will say that the overall distance with the trout magnet, I don't believe got better with the Plume. It was probably about the same, but where it was much better was in ease of casting, meaning I didn't have to swing quite as hard to get the trout magnet out there. And that's because the blank was so flexible. The accuracy was better, meaning I didn't have to release my thumb a little bit early so the lure would go straight. And once again, I think that's down to the much more flexible blank of the Plume. The fact that I could also easily do overhead casts, which was very hard with the Teton because it was so stiff. And the fact that this Plume is so much more comfortable to cast. It's got that nice thick grip back here, while with the Teton, you can see I got the first model with the virtually non-existent grip there, and it feels like you could literally throw your whole combo into the water if you didn't grip it tight enough. So needless to say that before I uploaded this video to YouTube, I love this Plume so much that I went ahead and ordered another. And don't worry guys, I just ordered one, so I did leave some for the rest of you. And I'm gonna leave a link in the description on where I bought this rod. And I just want to say that there's only one MAVLLOS Plume that I saw on AliExpress, and it's this rod and the spinning version. So it doesn't look like there's any other MAVLLOS Plumes that are, you know, different lengths and different powers and whatnot. But I did leave the specs on the screen for you guys early in the video about the lure rating and the tip diameter, so you can rewind to that if you want to make sure you're ordering the right one. Now, like I said, this is just a preliminary cast testing video, and I do plan on bringing this rod with me as I travel through Colorado this summer, and it's probably going to be my dedicated trout magnet rod, and I'm probably going to pair it with the same custom ALDEBARAN. So if you want to see this rod in action catching fish, just leave me a like and leave me a comment in the comment section letting me know. And if there's enough interest, I'll show you what this rod can do fishing for trout in Colorado. So there we go guys, the first rod of 3 that I purchased with the intent of fishing the trout magnet, and it's looking like the Plume could be the best one of the 3. But of course that means we're gonna have to test out the other 2 to find out. So be on the lookout for that. Alright guys, thanks a lot.